Well, joining us tonight to get a breakdown of what these charges meant and the verdict and what they mean actually going forward is retired Shelby County Sheriff's Office Captain Bennie Cobb. He is now a law enforcement consultant and public safety trainer.
Also tonight, community activist and Reverend Dr. Earle Fisher. Dr. Fisher, let's start with you tonight. Your reaction specifically to the unanimous decision, because jurors, as we know, had several options here, and what you think it means for policing in communities like Memphis.
Well, thanks to you for having me. I would say first and foremost, my heart goes out to the family of George Floyd, who, regardless of the verdict, still has to live with the loss of a loved one. And this is a life that was snuffed out too soon. And I also have to send some love and some light to all of the black folks processing perpetual pain and trauma. I've lived through the trials of officers like the ones who beat Rodney King, George Zimmerman trial, no true bill for Darren Wilson, lack of indictment for kind of chilling and all of that. Like, it's hard for me, Brother Richard, to separate or compartmentalize this trial from the broader patterns of central system of structures of injustice and inequity. This is something, matter of fact, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, said he would not call this justice, he'd call it accountability, and that's a step towards justice, so I would say that I agree with him.
Mr. Cobb, I'm going to bring you in here now because the prosecutors from the very beginning and through their closing arguments constantly said that this is not a case against policemen, but against one bad apple. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me on. My viewpoint of this is very broad and at the same time very narrow. Having served in law enforcement for over 40 years and public safety as well, this is one of the cases that having discussion with several of my friends, my counterparts, we can call this consider this as the case of the century, and as much as in 15, 20, 30 years ago, we had the O.J. Simpson case. Now, what's happening now is the video. So many of my African-American friends and family have been disappointed over the years because there has been video. There's been compelling video, and even with the compelling video, the outcome has been quite different. So for the law enforcement community who should take this as a learning experience to have their officers or hold their officers accountable, so this kind of thing won't happen again, or at least it can be decreased. The punishment should be and will be great, I'm sure, in this case for the African-American community. There's hope, and the hope comes in this verdict that's been delivered, guilty on all charges. And I hear the shouting in the street. I hear the relief. I hear the the celebrated side. And again, echoing what Dr. Fisher said, my prayers go out to the George Floyd family, to the city of the Minnesotans, and I hope that in the near future, the very near future, there's some healing to the understanding that it should not be law enforcement against the citizens. The citizens should not be against law enforcement. That mindset should not exist. And hopefully, we're heading into a new direction.
Well, Mr. Cobb, let me ask you, because you're right, video is certainly the new element. Police brutality is not new, racism is not new, but things being recorded on camera and just about everywhere has certainly changed the dynamic. One thing that we hear a lot about, though, is the remaining big linchpin that still has to change is you have to remove the ability for officers who knowingly see one of their fellow officers do some bad stuff, get away with not reporting it. You've got to make it mandatory that they report any questionable activity, or they risk losing their jobs. It's all about the blue line. What do you think about that as a former officer yourself?
Well, and then you're absolutely right. Having lived through almost 40 years and been a part of 40 years of law enforcement. Law enforcement has changed, but it still remains the same in some aspect. You have old heads, as we call them, training these new officers, and they're saying this is the way we've always done it. And the blue line exists. The wall of silence exists. And so those officers that stood back and watched that just as culpable as George Floyd, they should be held accountable. And all the young officers, the veteran officers that's watching this verdict, that's watched this trial, that has watched this tragedy go on, where a citizen was held down and murdered, and it's been proven by the court of law that he was murdered, held down for over 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a new day. The video don't lie. The juries and the citizens of the United States are tired of this silliness and this madness. And the officers that stood by will have their day in court. And hopefully, based on the video and all the evidence that's been presented, justice will be served for the Floyd family.
You know, I have to bring you back in here, Dr. Fisher, because what Mr. Cobb is saying is the sentiment of many. And we've never seen so many officers come out against another officer, because there is this really thin blue line that is observed, and it is like a secret society. But with that being said, what about all those cases that don't get filmed? What about all those cases that aren't seen nationally? How do we reimagine policing in this moment?
I think part of what we do is be honest about what you just described. Brother Cobb is correct, and I really wish there were more officers like him willing to be as honest as he is. There's a modest or a collective sigh of relief, and that's because this verdict reminds us of the number of times that verdicts have gone against justice for black families and victims of police brutality and state sanctioned violence. And the fact is, if there was a similar trial tomorrow with similar circumstances, even with the videos, most black folks would still be on pins and needles holding their breath, because this verdict flies in the face of a broader structural history. I think about Derek Stewart being killed by Officer Connor Shelby. There was a 3-minute video of that, but the officer was never even indicted, let alone brought to trial. So Brother Cobb is right to have a more robust conversation about reimagining policing, those people accountable. And so that way we won't keep cataloging the scores of citizens over the decades who fit the same description as Brother George Floyd, but whose families still have not received justice. So
Okay.
I hope that this is an opportunity we take to lean into that.
Dr. Fisher and Mr. Cobb, listen, we only have about 30 seconds, so I'm going to give each of you 15 seconds to respond to this. How do we quote unquote not waste this moment? How do we move forward?
Well, I think we move forward by being honest about where this moment fits in the broader history of where we have been. Yes, there's been a crack in the blue wall of silence, and we thank God for that. But we have to continue to try to hold people accountable moving forward. That's the only way justice is going to prevail long term. Again, this is more about accountability and not justice.
Mr. Cobb?
What I see happening here, the changes going to have to start from the top. I hear us to talk about criminal justice reform. I've been hearing that for years. The supervisors, the police director, the police chief, the sheriffs are going to have to hold their officers accountable. Of course, when the tragedy happens, there may be an indictment. The officer may get arrested, and he may even serve time. However, the life is lost already. So we have to go into preventive measure. We have to do things certainly different from what we've been doing. We have to change the mindset of police officers. We have to change the training, and then we have to have the citizens and police officers, the law enforcement working together to understand that it will take all of us to make this system work. The system should not be one against the other.
All right, Mr. Cobb and Dr. Fisher, thank you both for your perspective and for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me.